Hello, friends. As my canoe glides along the Tigris, I can't help but imagine the river itself as a living god, mighty, temperamental, and occasionally vengeful. And that's exactly how the Mesopotamians saw the world, a place where gods ruled everything, from the harvest to the storms, from love to war. The Mesopotamians didn't just believe in their gods, they feared, respected, and sometimes outright bribed them. Now let me introduce you to the Mesopotamian divine VIPs. First up, the head honcho, Anu, the god of the sky. Think of him as the Mesopotamian CEO, sitting at the top of the divine pyramid. He wasn't one to directly interfere with mortal affairs. He was more of a sign the contracts and let middle management handle it kind of god. Handling most of the actual smiting and ruling was Enlil, the god of wind and storms. If you forgot to make an offering, you might wake up to your house being blown into the next city. Enlil was powerful and unpredictable, and the Mesopotamians were smart enough to stay on his good side. Then there was Inanna, later known as Ishtar, the goddess of love, war, and fertility. And let me tell you, she didn't do anything halfway. She could make you fall in love or start a war, sometimes both in the same afternoon. Mesopotamian love life must have been very complicated. Next, we have Enki, the god of wisdom, magic, and water. He was the clever one, the divine trickster. When the gods planned to flood the world, because, well, humans annoyed them, it was Enki who leaked the info to Utnapishtim, who built a boat and survived. Sound familiar? It's an early version of the Noah's Ark story. And then there was Nergal, the god of death and the underworld. With a name that sounds like the guy you definitely don't want to invite to your dinner party, Nergal was grim and merciless. His underworld wasn't a fiery pit. It was a dim, shadowy realm where the dead ate dust. Cheerful, right? But here's the fun part. The Mesopotamians didn't just worship their gods out of reverence. They were also pragmatic negotiators. If you wanted a good harvest, you sacrificed a sheep. If you wanted to win a battle, you sacrificed a lot of sheep. And if you were really desperate, well, let's just say some clay tablets hint at more extravagant offers. Temples, called ziggurats, were the gods' earthly homes. These towering step pyramid structures weren't just for prayer. They were believed to be literal stairways for the gods to descend. Inside, priests performed rituals, made offerings, and occasionally acted as divine mediators, interpreting omens and dreams. But here's the twist. Mesopotamian gods were far from perfect. They were vain, jealous, and often downright petty. If you thought office politics were bad, you've clearly never seen a divine power struggle. In one myth, Inanna descends into the underworld and throws such a divine tantrum that the fertility of the land grinds to a halt until she's brought back. Talk about dramatic exits. As I drift along the river, I can almost hear the ancient prayers and offerings that once echoed across these waters. The desperate pleas of farmers for rain, the hopeful chants of soldiers before battle. But while the people of Sumer prayed to their gods for protection, a new force was rising in the north, one led not by priests, but by a king who sought absolute power. His name was Sargon of Akkad, and he would go on to create the first empire the world had ever seen. Join me next time as we follow Sargon's ruthless conquests and the birth of the Akkadian Empire.